Family drama often forces people to choose sides and make them wonder whether or not they're the jerk. We've got a story on that one in just a bit. But first, am I the jerk for asking for my dead sister's ring back after my brother used it to propose? My sister died when I was like 6 and she was 17. We weren't super close or anything, but I still remember little bits of her. Her laugh, how she always painted her nails, her posters. She was like this perfect angel to my mom after she passed. I barely remember the funeral. When I was like 12, I found this old ring in her stuff. Nothing fancy, just a silver ring with a small stone. It fit me, and I don't know why, but I kept it. It wasn't some big dramatic thing. I didn't steal it or anything. I just took it and started keeping it. I didn't wear it loads or flaunt it, just had it in this little box, and sometimes I'd look at it when I missed her. It kind of became this one thing that felt like mine, like my piece of her. So anyway, last weekend we had this family lunch, and my brother, 27-year-old male, brings his girlfriend who everyone knew he was going to propose to. And yeah, he stands up, does the big speech, and pulls out the ring, my sister's ring, the one I've kept for like 7 years. I literally froze. His girlfriend starts crying, people are clapping, and I'm just sitting there like, what? I look at my mom and she just smiles at me like nothing happened. After dinner, I ask her, was that the ring? And she's like, yeah, your brother asked me and Dad, and we said it was fine. She said it was sweet and symbolic, and my sister would have wanted it passed down or whatever. And I was like, huh? It was never yours to give, though? Like, I've had it for years? And she just goes, oh, come on, it's just a ring. Don't be dramatic. But, like, when I had it, it wasn't just a ring. So, yeah, I kind of snapped. Waited till people were outside and told my brother I wanted it back. He laughed at first, then was like, no, what? And I said, okay, well then I'll tell your girlfriend where it came from and let her decide. He got mad and said I was ruining his proposal and making it about me, like always. My mom dragged me into the kitchen, saying everyone noticed I wasn't happy and that I left halfway through dinner. Yeah, because I was crying in the bathroom. Like, Dad tried to calm it down, but my brother kept going on about how selfish I was and that I'd been weird about my sister for years. I didn't even say anything. I just left early and haven't spoken to any of them since. Mom rang me yesterday saying, have I calmed down and am I ready to say sorry? And I said, not really, and she hung up. My cousin texted me later saying it was actually super messed up and she doesn't blame me, but I don't know. I probably could have handled it better, but I just felt so blindsided. It's not even about the stupid ring, it's just like they acted like it didn't matter to me, like I didn't matter. So yeah, am I the jerk? I think everybody kind of sucks a little bit here. I mean, yes, you said that the ring does have some kind of symbolic value, but it is something that wasn't given to you. You found going through her things after she passed away. You said you hardly even remember her, so not to diminish your connection to it, but yeah, they shouldn't have just taken it from you knowing that it was important to you. I don't know, just a bit of a mess, your classic family drama. The Fixer 9985 replied, not the jerk. I particularly like the manipulation of how it's just a ring when you're upset about it. But when you ask for it back, suddenly it's not just a ring, and you're being selfish and making everything about you. From what you say, it seems pretty clear they knew you wore the ring and had an attachment to it. She was your sister too. Your loss and your grief are valid. They should have asked you if you were okay with the ring being given to someone else first. Also, hey everybody, my name is Brendan, and if you guys enjoy these I the Jerk videos, it would be so amazing if you liked the video, or commented down below if you're listening to our podcast. Now then, our next story is, am I the jerk for telling my teacher she can't deduct marks over putting citations in my work? I, 17-year-old female, am currently taking summer school for 12th grade physics. Recently, we were asked to create an infographic as a group on a topic under the Waves and Light unit. My other two group members, both 17-year-old females, wrote our assignment on the topic of heat mirages. After spending hours on the task, we decided to add our citations on a page below the infographic. This was not explicitly asked on the assignment. However, we wanted to be academically honest students and put down our sources anyway. This morning, we received our grades back. We achieved a level 3, 70s range, and as highly achieving students, this felt absurd to us. However, the feedback that was provided said we gave the output of a level 4, but were instead brought down to a level 3. The reason? Citations were not asked for this assignment. I will take off 1 mark under individual work, 3 out of 4. Yes, that's the only comment our group received as feedback on our work. The decrease had nothing to do with the quantity or quality of our work. We decided to confront the teacher as soon as possible. Why were we losing a whopping 15% of our grade over putting down our sources? When the three of us approached her, she was very rude and condescending about it, stating, quote, "You should read the instructions next time. Actions have consequences, and you shall receive consequences for not following instructions accordingly." I attempted to negotiate further, but the teacher would not budge. She got angry and cut the conversation early before any of my other group members could get a chance to speak after me. We were very upset over losing such a huge percentage of our grade on this assignment over adding citations, of all things. I believe that if she wishes to use such an excuse to penalize us over not following instructions, she should have at least given us a 4 minus instead of dropping us down as far as a 3. Especially since this is a 12th grade course. It's very important for me to do the best I can. I need physics as a prerequisite for my desired university programs, and this will not only drastically impact my grade, but my group members as well. Am I the jerk? Hell to the no, you're not the jerk, and you really need to push with the school admins to get that grade changed back. Why would anyone that doesn't just flat out hate their life and hate children do this to somebody? For adding citations, for going above and beyond and doing something that honestly everybody should do when you're quoting from outside sources, why would you punish them for doing that? That's something that should be encouraged, not docked points for. So yeah, you absolutely need to fight this. No, you're not the jerk. Kajai Wiz replied, "Ask her where the instructions were that you were not to include citations. You did not disregard directions. Doing more than was asked for is not the same as defying instructions. You need to take this higher, probably getting your parents involved. I always told my kids to deal with an issue and let me know if or when they needed me. This woman does not sound reasonable or respectful. I wouldn't screw around." Flying Flip Phone replied, "Ask her if it's okay that you wear blue jeans to school. She says that's fine. Then tell her that she didn't give you explicit permission to wear blue jeans, so perhaps you broke the rules?" Her next story is, "Am I the jerk for telling my roommate's friend about my heritage? I, 21-year-old female, am half Mexican and half Chinese. My parents came to the US before I was born, but thought it was very important for me to learn their native languages and participate in both their cultures. Because of this, I can speak Spanish and Mandarin. Both my parents also loved cooking, so growing up, we ate a lot of traditional Mexican and Chinese dishes, as well as some blended fusion meals as well. A few nights ago, I was cooking dinner at my apartment. I was making one of those fusion dishes, but I got stuck on a particular step. So I called my mom to ask for help, and we talked in Spanish. I was on the phone when my roommate, Anne, 23-year-old female, came home with her friends, who I was not told were coming over. Later, one of the guys from the group came into the kitchen and asked what I was making because it smelled good. I explained the dish was created by my parents to blend Mexican and Chinese cuisine. He then asked why I was speaking on the phone in Spanish earlier, so I told him that I'm half Mexican and half Chinese, and that I grew up speaking both Spanish and Mandarin with my parents. He seemed genuinely interested and asked me more about the languages and the cooking. So we ended up talking for a while about my background and how food and language are such a big part of my life. The next day, I found out through my other roommate that Anne had told her I was showing off and flirting with her friend. This ticked me off because I wasn't trying to flirt with him, and he was the one who started the conversation with me. I tried to talk to Anne about this, but she just seemed annoyed and told me it was obvious how it looked, and I should be more mindful when she has her friends over. I told her that I can't be mindful if she doesn't even warn me about having company over. She said she doesn't have to get my permission to invite people to the apartment. I was getting irritated by this point, so I let the conversation die down after this. It's been so awkward ever since this happened, and every time I see her, she's short with me and barely acknowledges me. I'm starting to wonder if I behaved out of line. Am I the jerk? No, you're not the jerk. I mean, she's the one kind of picking battles with you. You're just talking to a guy and she's reading between the lines, poking her nose in and saying, hey, you're flirting with my friend and blah, blah, blah. Like she's starting all of this. You're just doing your own thing. So no, not the jerk. Ubalicious the Wise posted, Wow, I'm interested in you already and would love to discuss languages, food, and heritage with you. Had I been Anne's friend, I would have done the exact same thing and would have probably spoke with you most of the time I was there without any other intentions apart from learning more about your background in food fusions. You sound fascinating. I'm gonna go not the jerk here. It sounds like Anne was just ticked you took the attention of her friend. I think there's a chance she may have been interested in this friend in a more romantic way too. Keep being you. Even Sheer added, he came over because he wanted to chat, and so what if it was possibly flirtatious? Shouldn't matter either way. If you were having a nice time chatting with him and he was with you, it's none of her dang business. She doesn't own him. You just keep being yourself, OP. Sounds like you're a friendly and approachable person who's a good cook, and is lucky to have a roommate like you. Not the jerk. Our next story is, am I the jerk for bringing hazelnut coffee over? I, 18-year-old female, bought coffee before going over to my friend, 18-year-old male's house for a study session. He and my boyfriend, 18, were already there. After a while, I got up to go to the toilet. When my back was turned, my friend's little sister, 8, who's allergic to hazelnut, tried to drink my coffee. I knew because my boyfriend, who knows how I like my coffee, yelled, "You can't have that!" making me turn around right when she put it back on the table. When I explained to her that the coffee has hazelnut, my friend got very upset at me, saying I shouldn't bring over something that could endanger her sister. I just didn't think it would happen since she's always asked before eating any of my sweets and candies. I'm gonna go not the jerk here. To my knowledge, an allergy such as this requires direct consumption, right? It's not like there's these airborne pathogens coming out of hazelnut that just make people break out. I could be wrong, but no, not the jerk, because she just helped herself to coffee. I mean, it's not like OP had anything to do with that. Kimbob1234 replied, I have hazelnut coffee, and the pods I use are hazelnut flavored, no actual nuts. Why is she helping herself to other people's drinks? That's a no-no anyway, especially hot drinks. Surely a toddler learns that? If you think there's actual nuts in it, why did you take it somewhere there's a person with a nut allergy? And Aniline Black replied, hazelnut flavoring is often derived from hazelnuts, so people with hazelnut allergies still have to be mindful about consuming hazelnut flavorings. Even an artificial flavor can be derived from the allergen, and since hazelnuts aren't in the top 8 allergens, it can be hidden in natural and artificial flavors. In the US at least, not sure about other countries. I have a hazelnut allergy as well as an allergy to a specific artificial flavor that's in most artificial hazelnut flavors, so I had to learn more about this than anyone should ever have to. Our next story is, am I the jerk for pushing back on my brother's request when I had already made arrangements with our mom? Hi Reddit. My 34-year-old female, younger brother, 31-year-old male, and I live abroad in different states of the same country. He's a medical resident. I'm a postdoc. We earn about the same as we're both in the healthcare field. He's the only boy and very much the golden child in the eyes of our mom. I invited my mom to visit from our home country over a major holiday where we live. I paid for her round-trip flight and offered to drive her 6 hours each way so she could also spend time with my brother during her visit. My husband and child were with me, and we had all been looking forward to celebrating together as a family. When we talked about her visit, I asked if she could bring some wine from home, up to the legal duty-free limit. It's hard to find and very expensive where I live, and I offered to reimburse her for it. When my brother found out, he asked her to bring him a specific liquor that's very easy to find here for the same price as back home. He didn't offer to pay, just expected it as a gift. I asked my mom to say no and explained why. I was paying for the trip, reimbursing her for the wine, and my request was for something I couldn't get here. His wasn't. She pushed back and said she didn't want to upset him because he wouldn't understand. I compromised. She could bring him 1 bottle, and I'd take 1 less of mine. Now, for context, in our culture, it's common for parents to expect financial support from their children, especially as they age. My mom has always expected more from me. She says it's because I'm the oldest and married to someone who makes good money. She regularly asks me to send her more money than she asks from my siblings. Back to the story. Even after we agreed on the compromise, she still wanted to talk to him. As expected, he got angry and called me entitled, saying that just because I paid for her ticket didn't mean she should only bring things for me. To keep the peace, I said fine, bring me one less bottle and give him what he wants. Fast forward to the holiday visit. When we give him the bottle, he exploded. He accused us of tricking him and claimed we must have bought it after my mom arrived. We didn't, it was packed from home. He yelled that I was selfish and had manipulated the whole situation. The argument ruined the celebration, and things got so bad that we ended up cutting the visit short and driving back the same day. Now I'm left wondering, am I the jerk for initially asking my mom not to bring him what he wanted? And is it really my fault that everything escalated? Thanks in advance for your thoughts. I'm going to go with not the jerk here. I mean, the fact that siblings in their mid-30s are having this kind of back and forth drama is ridiculous. But yeah, brother needs to grow up and mom needs to just put the hammer down. Come on, quit babying the guy. Outrageous Forrest replied, "You can ask, your mom can say no. The part that makes your mom the jerk is agreeing to buy you the wine you asked for and then reneging on it. That's wrong. Your brother can pay for her trip and you'll go there to visit and lend enthusiasm. You've had enough. Or instead of paying for your mom to visit, go there instead and either stay with her or stay in a hotel. Either way, you can bring back the wine you want or have it shipped to you. Just because your mom expects you to support her as she ages doesn't mean you have to. Cultural norms or not, your mother chose to have kids. You had no choice in being born. It's your choice what you do with your money. Also, your mother has no right to any of your husband's income. It's not your husband's responsibility to support her or take on a higher percentage of the bills because your mom wants to give her more money, more luxuries. She can go to her son for that. It's interesting that the child they treat less than is always the one they want more money from. Never the golden child, the one they gave everything to. Might want to consider distancing yourself from your mom, not the jerk. Our next story is, am I the jerk for taking a job that's twice the amount I've ever made and would solve my financial problems? Got offered a job for $60K plus a year. Only problem is I'd have to work weekends. My girlfriend works Monday through Friday and has weekends off. Her one requirement is that I also don't work weekends. It's made my job search significantly more difficult, and I said screw it and went to an interview anyways. They offered me the job and I want to take it, but now she's freaking out. I've been in a financial hole for years now, and this job would help bring me out of it. I've been depressed for years due to finances. This would be life-changing for me. We've lived together for 8 years, and she said we're done if I accept this job. She'd rather have me make $40K a year now if it means I get weekends off for us to spend together. This job also has full benefits, which I've never had. I need health and dental, etc. Would I be the jerk to accept the job? She keeps saying I'm being unreasonable and choosing money over her. Edit. Okay, after all these comments of her being the jerk, I'm starting to feel bad now. She's always made more money than me and has supported me financially at times more than I'd like to admit. I've always been less financially stable than her, and recently we bought a house because she didn't want to keep living in an apartment and to have nicer things in life. It's become harder now that we live in a house. She pays, most often, the mortgage, but I pay the electric, water, internet, etc. Do all the cleaning, housework, yard, fixing up the house, etc. Now we're both struggling, but I just need a better job to help out more. Obviously, she doesn't want me having this job because the weekend thing, and she said I could just find a different job that I can make more money working Monday through Friday, like going into a trade, etc. The job I was offered was a restaurant manager for a popular franchise, which suits me since I've managed restaurants in the past. We're a 26-year-old female and 28-year-old male. This is a conversation, OP, that you need to have with her and her alone and not get, these third-party recommendations from Reddit from people that really don't know the full dynamics of your relationship. Talk it out and either agree to disagree and you both move on, or you come to a compromise, which sounds like you've done a great job compromising with each other so far, and figure out a way to make it work. Germantown Tiger replied, "Here's my dad advice. Take the job, get a new girlfriend. Looks like she doesn't realize you could still see each other Monday through Friday in the evenings, while also Saturday and Sunday in the evenings too, assuming it's not a night job. She also doesn't understand that a financially secure / less stressed you is actually better for her in the long run. She's a knucklehead. Godspeed to you." Our next story is, am I the jerk for telling my friend he's not even close to as handsome as my boyfriend? My boyfriend has a friend who's fairly conventionally attractive and kind of annoying about it. The friend tends to make jokes at my boyfriend's expense, usually poking fun at my boyfriend's nose. My boyfriend has a unique, larger, very handsome nose that I'm very attracted to. It's very masculine and appealing to me. So when I hear his friend making fun of his big nose and comparing my boyfriend to Angry Birds, it slightly bothers me. But it doesn't appear to bother my boyfriend, and my boyfriend has even said the jokes make him laugh. We were all drinking at a party the other day, and the friend was once again making jokes at my boyfriend's expense about the way he looks. I was pretty drunk and over the jokes, so I said, "Oh, please, you wish you looked like him," with a smile on my face. He seemed genuinely caught off guard, since I'm normally fairly passive. He said something along the lines of, "Why would I want to look like him?" I replied with, "Because you're not even close to as handsome as him." I thought it would come across as flirty and cute because I'm his girlfriend, so of course I think he's the most handsome in the world. I thought it would be a nice ego boost for my boyfriend, as well as he was getting dogged on for his nose all the time. My boyfriend enjoyed the response, but his friend seemed actually hurt by what I said. I heard later that he was telling others that what I said was really rude and uncalled for. Some of my friends think I was just dishing it back, but other friends say I went too far and was just being petty and rude. Am I the jerk? No, not the jerk. I would expect two people in a relationship, one to always take the defense of their significant other in situations like this, and this guy just needs to, grow some thicker skin. I mean, my gosh, how does a comment like that really upset you and make you sad? Come on. Crimson Knight 004 replied, "Not the jerk. You don't need to glaze some guy that's actively putting your boyfriend down. He's making these jokes because he's insecure. That's the end-all be-all, which is why he overreacted to your comment. It was, in his mind, confirmation of his own fears and insecurities. Of course you're going to think your boyfriend's more handsome than his friend. He's your boyfriend. Getting hurt over a comment like that wouldn't make sense unless he's already insecure over his looks and/or wants to date you himself." Our next story is, "Am I the jerk for asking my sister-in-law not to call my husband daddy? My husband, 53-year-old male, and I, 40-year-old female, have been married for 2 years. I'm his second wife, and we have no kids together, but he has one 28-year-old female from his previous marriage. His parents have a beach house that everyone spends time at, and we're usually all there around the same time due to school break schedules. My sister-in-law, 50-year-old female, and brother-in-law, 50-year-old male, husband's brother, were there, along with my husband and I and a few other people, including my husband's kid, 28-year-old female. We were all sitting around the table drinking and playing games when my sister-in-law starts calling her husband daddy. Understandable. They've got 2 kids together. She probably uses this term around their house. A few minutes go by, and I hear her yelling at my husband, calling him daddy, trying to get his attention. I immediately mention to her that I find that weird and to please not call him that. Later, I find out through my husband's daughter, 28-year-old female, that on a different occasion, sister-in-law was talking to daughter is 28-year-old female, and said, quote, "I love OP, but your dad, he's my person." Am I the jerk for thinking something untoward is going through sister-in-law's mind? Should I confront sister-in-law and ask her to clarify what she means by using those terms? No, you're not the jerk for thinking this. Definitely kind of weird dynamic. I would definitely confront her with your husband. Just go ahead and squash it. Don't allow this to fester. Select Fisherman 6699 replied, "Girl, sister-in-law literally admitted to wanting your husband. Absolutely not. And her calling your husband daddy is weird AF, and I don't understand why brother-in-law doesn't have a problem with that. And your husband needs to immediately establish boundaries with her. He should be the one telling her to stop, not you." Our next story is, "Am I the jerk for telling my mom she's not my kid's mom? Throwaway because I just want a verdict and to be done with it. So for background, I, 28-year-old female, and my husband, 30-year-old male, have 2 kids, 7-year-old male and 4-year-old female. My mother is actually a great grandmother. She loves the kids and is very helpful, but she has this habit of overstepping. So both our kids do chores. We give them things to do that they're capable of doing. Like my son does the dishes sometimes after dinner. My daughter will help set and clean up the table afterwards. Those kind of things. My mom came to visit us recently, and I've been noticing she's been doing this thing. She stops my son from whatever chore he's doing and does it for him. But if she sees my daughter doing something, she won't. At first, I thought she just didn't want her grandkids to do the work because she often calls me a cold mother for making them do chores, but then I figured out the pattern and it rubbed me the wrong way because I remembered she used to do the same thing to me. My brothers would do nothing while I did everything, so I started correcting her and making my son finish his chores himself, which made her really agitated. Yesterday we were having dinner and my daughter and husband were cleaning up the table because it was my son's turn to do the dishes. She tried stopping him, but I told him to do the dishes and took her outside. She told me I'm so cold for making my son wash dishes and why couldn't I do it? I explained to her that we like to split chores evenly in the house, and if he's capable, he should. It was like 5 plates and cups and a few spoons. She kept going, and she called me lazy, something she would often do whenever I asked my brothers to help me out with chores. Here's where I may be a jerk. I told her she's one to talk after making me clean up after everybody my whole life. I told her I'm not going to enable my son to be effing losers like her sons. My little brother literally had to be spoon-fed until he was 10 because he refused to eat if my mom didn't feed him. I was apparently ill-treating my son by making him do all these chores. I told her I'm teaching him to be independent and that she may have raised 2 boys, but she's not my kid's mom, so she could F off when I'm trying not to turn my son into an incompetent jerk. She left crying. My dad called and told me she's moping around. My husband says it was deserved, but she really doesn't like my mother because he's seen over the years how she treats me compared to how she treats my brothers. Did I go too far? And any advice is appreciated. Thank you. I think you might have gone too far. She definitely needed to be checked, but man, the delivery was just blunt busted over the head. That's going to be a hard one to roll back later, so I do agree she needed to be called out, maybe just a little excessive in the delivery. Outrageous Banana 905 commented, I don't think you went too far. I think your son will appreciate learning how to be a capable person. Your daughter will appreciate being treated fairly. Rock on, Mom. You've got this. Pandora2304 replied, I'd even say she could go further. If that happens again, I'd correct her in front of the kids, then set the boundary again and talk her through it. Later that day, I'd sit down the kids and explain it to them in a kid-friendly way. Repeat it every instant so they see the discrimination corrected, challenged, and it isn't normalized. If she doesn't respect your parenting decisions, though, I'd reconsider how much time she gets to spend around them. Watch closely if she corrects her behavior now or doubles down, ignores the boundary. Our next story is, am I the jerk for siding with my mom about not working for his family, aunts and grandparents, after they begged me to do so? I graduated from architecture school 2 years ago. I'm the first architect in my immediate family, and they always knew that fact while I was studying in college. My mom's side has 2 aunts and their husbands, as well as my grandparents, doing well financially and have had construction and remodeling projects in the past few years. They had told me if I would be happy to participate and that they would help me get into construction projects more deeply. I had explicitly told them I would like to help. I wasn't even interested in payment. As a recent graduate, I was focused on building a portfolio of projects and immersing myself in new challenges. Time passed, and none of them gave me any news. When I visited them, I got to ask, and they told me that I could certainly participate. Months went by from the tentative dates they told me, and no one said anything. I even asked them directly via text messages when I could take a look at things. I didn't care if they were working with another firm, but I was excited to help them with the smallest details. Neither my aunts nor my grandparents said anything to me, and I assumed they didn't need my help. Months passed, and I learned that they had deliberately agreed with a very distant cousin, who isn't even in the state and was also a recent architecture graduate, to help them carry out their projects. That decision of not trusting me as their close family, in addition to other mental issues I'd been carrying, caused me to hit rock bottom for several long months, during which I had to undergo therapy because I wasn't in a comfortable place mentally. Fortunately, things took a turn for the better. Last year, I landed a job at a prestigious local firm with various hotel and vertical housing projects, something that's more difficult to find formative experiences. I also began to get clients for projects I manage on my own, and my portfolio began to grow. I won a national award that I earned during my education, and I'm doing better than ever financially. My grandparents and aunts have started writing to me saying they need help making changes to projects they were working on for months. They've been writing to me insistently, and now they've even begged me that they'll pay me for the projects. My mother, besides being upset with her family, accepts my reasons for not wanting to help them and tells me she's fine with whatever I need. My brother, on the other hand, makes me think and tells me that maybe I should give them a chance. Personally, I don't mind burning that bridge I might have with them, and I wouldn't mind having to turn down clients who I feel might be bad for my business. What do you think? Am I the jerk? Keep in mind that I'm from Mexico, and here, practicing your profession requires having an academic degree and, like everywhere else, dealing with bureaucracy and adhering to federal and state regulations. No, you're not the jerk. You were deceived by these people, family or not, and, now that you're successful and you've made a name for yourself, now they kind of want to roll that back and try to get back in your good graces and get your help. No, 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 no. Cut it off, burn the bridge, especially if it doesn't bother you to do so. Worth Season 3645 replied, "Not the jerk. Sorry, family, but I'm beyond busy with my current position and afraid I do not have the time to take on any more projects. I'm sure that cousin can continue to help with your needs." Our next story is, am I the jerk for telling my cousin the real reason I stopped letting her babysit my daughter was her own behavior? My cousin Laura, 22-year-old female, is into Stan Wars. If you don't know, it's basically being a fan of something, but also really toxic and nasty about it. Snark forums are for people to just sit around and talk crap about a celebrity they're obsessed with. It's a lot of immature and childish and nasty behavior. Laura accidentally liked a post of mine on her Stan account. She says it's just for fun and not that serious. It made me sick. She has like 4 celebs she's obsessed with hating and comparing to her fave. I'm not saying who to avoid bias, but their childish nicknames, shaming, calling other fans schizophrenic or mentally ill, and saying they should be locked up, calling them slurs, and worse. After I saw that stuff, I saw her in a different light. My daughter likes some of the people Laura rages against, and it made me sick to think about her mocking her or saying things about her. I stopped asking Laura to babysit. It's been a while, and she's been asking about how she was trying to save up for a new car, but's been struggling to find off jobs. She said she could free herself up for babysitting. I said, no thanks, we had a permanent sitter now. She asked me why we didn't ask her. I tried to lie and say it just worked out better this way. She knew I was lying and pressed, so I ended up telling her the real reason that after seeing that Stan stuff, it made me sick to think about her saying stuff like that to my daughter, so I thought it best she doesn't sit anymore. And how I didn't want her to teach my daughter it was okay to be cruel to people. She blew her lid, saying that I need to learn how to take a joke. I pulled up pics I took and read out some of the stuff she said. I won't repeat it. My family was so mad. Laura told me to stop policing her behavior and that she's sure she can look through my internet history and find stuff I wouldn't be proud of. I told her I don't use the internet to be horrible to people and she should be ashamed of herself. Like, we have a gay cousin and she's calling some of these people horrible things. She said I'm taking everything out of context. I'm up on my high horse, and none of this is as serious as I'm saying. I'm overreacting and I'm taking it out on her that I'm old and out of touch. I do not live my life online the way she does. Am I the jerk for taking the babysitting gig away from her? Like, am I way overreacting over this and I'm just offended or something? Is this a lot more common than I think and I'm too sensitive? No, you're not the jerk, OP. You're right to cut this off. I don't care what anyone says. People that try to hide under the guise of, oh, they're just joking with the things that they post on the internet. No, this is a projection of who you really are inside. And so, no, you don't want that kind of behavior around your child. Absolutely in your right to cut her off. I mean, you don't owe her anything. Pete Power 77 commented, "Not the jerk. You're not policing her behavior. She's free to post whatever vile stuff she wants. She's free to say whatever vile stuff she wants. Just not around your kids. When I was a child, I loved my babysitters and would model their behavior. Then my niece did the same with me as the cool aunt when she was little. And then I watched as the youngest in our family did the same to her when she was their cool teen cousin. Kids often parrot adults, especially those they admire, often younger relatives. They don't need to learn Laura's behavior. Ever." Our next story is, am I the jerk for not waiting for my partner at the police station after he was questioned for something he did behind my back? My boyfriend, 28-year-old male, and I, 31-year-old female, are both from country A, where the currency is controlled but only loosely enforced. I work in a nearby country, B, and get paid in B's currency. One day, a rando online reached out to my BF asking if we'd like to exchange the currency of B for the currency of A. BF asked me if I'd be interested. I had to inquire about the exchange rate, but since it was much better than the Google rate, I told him it was probably a scam and thought nothing more of it. A month later, I got a call from the police in country A saying they had detained my BF for illicit foreign exchange and that I needed to come in for questioning. I excused myself from my work meeting and traveled for 2.5 hours back to country A, only to be told by the police that my boyfriend had gone ahead with the exchange without my knowledge, and the other party was indeed a scammer who was trying to launder money, hence why this was even on the police radar. I was questioned for hours about whether I'm an active scammer and if my work and income in country B were legitimate. When the police were finally done with my part, it was past 9 p.m. My BF was kept for more questioning, so I told him I needed to leave to catch the train back to country B as I had some important meetings the next day. Since my BF was technically a victim of the scam and the amount he exchanged was fairly small, he was eventually released without charges at around 1 a.m., as we were both expecting. However, now he's complaining that I didn't wait at the police station until he was released for something he did on my behalf, as I'm the one who might need money from A. From my point of view, I'm mad that he did something I explicitly told him not to do, which caused me to miss most of my workday with no notice, and in spite of this I still traveled for 5 hours that day just to help clarify the situation, which showed plenty of support and care. Am I the jerk for not waiting for him to be released? Edit. Thanks for your responses, everyone. Just some additional context to commonly asked questions. BF wanted me to wait for him to demonstrate I won't abandon him in crisis. BF thought he was not gullible as he made sure the scammer wired money first and even waited for it to be clear. In many countries, the police have a lot more power and a lot less rules than what the US folks may be used to, so not going to the police when requested, not giving them answers are not viable options. Thankfully, I do not have anything on my record other than I was being called in as a witness. He did not use my money, otherwise I'd have known. He exchanged the money in B first, then exchanged it back for profit as the scammer offered good rates. Well, there's an old saying, I've said it plenty of times on this channel before, when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, and this, my friends, was a very stupid game to play. Ninja Hiding in the Open commented, "Not the jerk. He should be apologizing profusely for wasting your time, getting you questioned by police, and losing a day of work. If he's turning this around to pretend he's some kind of victim here and blaming you, it's absolutely worth dumping him. Massive red flag." And OP replied to this, "Thanks, that's what I thought. He's trying to spin it like this only happened because I work in country B. I only promptly showed up at the police station to detach myself from further investigation, both of which I find ridiculous, and I agree, it's a massive red flag." Our next story is, am I the jerk for not labeling my pocket knife as not safe for food? I work with pesticides and keep a knife on my belt for work. I often use the knife for opening pesticides. My roommate needed to open a foot package, and my knife was more convenient than walking to the kitchen, so he used it without asking. When I saw my knife removed from my belt, I asked why. I told him never again to use it because of the pesticides. He says I'm the jerk because I should have labeled it. No, you're not the jerk. He took your things without asking, and, he needs to reap the consequences of that, whatever those may be. Hopefully everything ended up being all right, but what if it wasn't? 100% his fault. You're not the jerk, OP. ADHD of Crafts replied, "Not the jerk, but I'd go the malicious compliance route. Get a label maker and label everything in your place that's not food safe. Better yet, see if you can find those old poison control Mr. Yuck stickers and have at it. TV remote? Label it. Table? Label it. Door? Label it. Toilet? Label it. Go to town." Our next story is, am I the jerk for pouring my girlfriend's mom's soup through a colander so I can pick out some vegetables I really don't like? My girlfriend's mom made us a seafood chowder for lunch while we were visiting. She made it before once, and it was really good, but she adds a few pieces of ginger to flavor it, and I really, really hate biting into ginger. I don't mind the flavor it imparts, I just hate the taste of actually eating a piece. Last time, I accidentally bit into one since they were so hard to see because the chowder was a creamy, thick soup, and it almost ruined the whole meal. So this time, before eating, I asked if she used ginger again, and she told me she forgot that I didn't like it and forgot to pick them out at the end. She seemed genuinely apologetic about it. I told her it was no problem, and I had an idea. I saw a colander hanging on a rack on the kitchen counter, and I went to the kitchen and strained the soup into another bowl, which I asked if I could grab, and picked out the couple pieces of ginger and dumped the remaining strained pieces of potato and fish and shrimp and scallops and stuff back into the liquid. I even said sorry for the extra dishes and offered to help clean up afterwards. Her mom didn't react like it was a big deal. Anyways, on the drive home, my girlfriend was quiet and I asked her what was wrong. She told me I didn't have to be such a jerk and make a big show and dance about insulting her mom's food. I was like, what? I like the food, except for a couple of ingredients. Still didn't smooth things over, though. I think this is just kind of lacking a little bit of social self-awareness, maybe. I'm not going to go so far as to say that OP was a jerk, but yeah, definitely I think that this could have been handled other than like straining the soup and then, sitting back down at the table and kind of making a scene of it. So that's more, I think, what your girlfriend is referring to. So yeah, let's just see what the comments say. Joe Lefty 500 commented, "No one is surprised you don't realize what a major jerk you were because you appear to be oblivious to social conventions and other people's feelings. You bite into a bit of ginger, you discreetly take it out of your mouth and put it in a napkin, say. Instead, you insult the cook and make a fuss when the intelligent and reasonable thing to do would be handle it yourself discreetly. I'm hoping the comments here are able to shake you out of your entitled lassitude. You are the jerk." Our next story is, "Am I the jerk for not giving my roommate my half of the security deposit?" So I was sharing an apartment with another roommate. Our security deposit was $1,000, split evenly between us. We each contributed $500. At the end of our lease, we both decided we would be ending it. The last month of our lease, I was super busy, so I decided to just give up the security deposit and let the landlord deal with the apartment, and I'll just eat whatever cleaning costs that they want to deduct from the deposit. My roommate, however, wanted the full security deposit back, so I told her, sure, go ahead and clean. I'll send you the full amount back. If they deduct anything, I'll cover it then. So she cleaned the entire apartment, including the common area, living room, kitchen, and bathroom, as well as her own room. The only place she didn't clean was my room, which was fine with me. After we'd moved out for about a month, the landlord sent me a check for the return of the security deposit, which was $750. They had to do some deeper cleaning that my roommate couldn't do in the common areas, as well as my room, which I didn't clean. This is something I had expected since we'd lived in that apartment for 5 years. There was no way my roommate could have cleaned it up to professional standards. A $250 loss after 5 years is not bad though, in my opinion. So, as promised, I sent my roommate her full $500 back and took that $250 loss on myself. Now my roommate is blowing the F up, saying when I said I would send her the full amount, she thought I meant the entire $750 amount. She argued that because she cleaned and I didn't, that meant she should be entitled to my part of the deposit too. I told her that I never hired or asked her to clean, and I'm not a bank for her money to grow interest. She cleaned to get her full deposit back, not to get more money from me. She called me a jerk and blocked me on social media. Our mutual friends are split. Some think I'm right, some think I should have given her that extra $250. Am I really the jerk in this situation? I think so, yeah. I mean, it's not even really about the money. It's the fact that, you didn't participate in the cleaning at all, and so because of that, not only did your roommate have to work double time, but, now she's at risk for not getting the deposit back because she's having to clean up her mess and your own, and ultimately, that's what happened. So yeah, $250, the way that you worded it doesn't sound like you're missing it a whole lot. So yeah, you should have given it all to your roommate. Okay, Ordinary 7397 replied, "You're the jerk. You risked your roommate's security deposit by refusing to do your share of the cleaning, forcing her to do the whole apartment in order to get her money back. When the two of you agreed to her taking full responsibility for the cleaning on the promise of her getting the full deposit back, you 100% implied that, for assuming full responsibility for the cleanup, she'd gain the full value of the deposit being returned. She traded her cleaning for your share of the deposit, based on the language you've described here at least. You've taken advantage of this girl, willfully misled her with your language, and reaped the benefits of her hard work by getting half of the deposit that you vocally abandoned back. You're the jerk here, and I hope you feel at least a little ashamed for such crappy behavior." Our next story is, "Am I the jerk for putting a sign above the toilet?" My 15-year-old female, boyfriend, 15-year-old male, has been coming over to my house a lot and spending a lot of time here. And when he does, he always leaves the toilet seat up in the bathroom that I use and share with my little sister, 10-year-old female. My sister and me both asked him a ton of times to please put the seat down after he uses the bathroom, and he usually just said, "Yeah, okay," or "Sure," and then kept leaving the seat up. It was really getting on me and my sister's nerves, so she suggested, as a joke at first, hey, why don't you put a sign up on the wall to remind him? And I thought that was actually a good idea, so I did it. I put a sign above the toilet in our bathroom that said, Dear BF's name, please put the seat down when you're done. Love, my name. I thought it would give him the reminder he seems to need. But today when he saw it, he came out of the bathroom really upset. He said it was embarrassing for him to have a sign in the bathroom for him about how to use the toilet. He said it was a stupid thing to do and it wasn't a big deal that he occasionally left the toilet seat up. But I told him how it's not an occasional thing. He leaves the seat up every time he uses the bathroom, and me and my sister were sick of it. He left and went home and still kind of angry, and I tried to text him to talk about it, but he just responded saying he doesn't want to talk to me right now. Am I the jerk? No, you're not the jerk. This is your home, and, it's just a courteous thing to do. I understand that you're both kids, 15 years old apiece, but yeah, he needs to start to man up a little bit and not let little things like this hurt his feelings. It's for your own good in the long run, young man, trust me. OG Bruce Wayne commented, he says he doesn't need a sign to tell him how to use the bathroom, but the sign is only there because he doesn't know how to use the bathroom. Not the jerk. If he can't respect your home, then don't let him come in anymore. Our next story is, am I the jerk for kicking my wife's family out after they kept extending their stay? We just bought a house 2 weeks ago. We're not even fully unpacked when my wife's parents said, hey, next month, can we come stay 3 nights over the weekend? It would be her mom, dad, and the 2 youngest siblings. The week they asked, they changed their mind, packed the car, and just drove here. They got here on a Sunday night and said, we're only staying 3 nights. Then, 2 nights into it, they said, we want to stay 1 more night. Now her sister wants to come up here and spend the weekend. This whole week, there's a few people staying over. I want everyone gone. I'm working late to not come home. My routine is gone. I need to mow and do other house chores. They keep our toddler up late and just sit at the table drinking beer. Yeah, sure, they brought us some great house gifts, and I feel twisted. I do care about them and want my wife's family and want her to see them. Am I the jerk for telling my wife never to do this again and asking them to leave early? Also, never allow people to stay here during the week when I have to go to work? No, again, it's boundaries that you're setting for your own place, and they're overextending, trying to take more. So until you push back a little bit, they're going to continue to take advantage of you. Not the jerk. Financially Secure 9 commented, not the jerk, it's totally understandable, but maybe tone it down a bit, especially if you haven't said anything to them about this. Maybe tonight at dinner, instead of avoiding them, you open a conversation about the date they plan to leave. Let them know you would like your home back. To them, it's a house, but to you, it's your home. Big difference. You deserve to live in peace. Don't ask them to leave. Instead, tell them something like, it's been great having you here. Thanks for coming. We'll be needing to resume our regular life before the weekend, so I'd like to do a final farewell on Thursday evening. What kind of food would you like? People can only take advantage of you if you let them. Stop letting them. Okay, nobody, 4967 replied. This is a great way to handle it. In the future, if someone wants to come over for an overnight, it needs to be 2 yeses. You also have to take your life schedules into account. Your home isn't some resort for people to come stay for extended time and eat all your food and disrupt lives of those living there. Don't make any guest room too cozy. Our next story is, would I be the jerk for announcing my engagement the day before my sister's baby shower? I, 30-year-old female, am the oldest of 3 siblings and have the typical eldest daughter syndrome. 8 years ago, I went through a hellacious divorce, and that greatly disappointed my very religious family. We used to be very close, but since I have more or less walked away from the religion and lived my life differently than them, we aren't close anymore, and they often will be passive-aggressive or downright rude to me about my life choices. My dad passed away 4 years ago, and I'm really the only one who keeps in touch with his mom, a 98-year-old female. My sister, 28-year-old female, is pregnant with her first child. My grandma and sister both live in different states, but are coming to town for a baby shower hosted by Mom this coming Saturday. I was the one who suggested we invite G-Ma and volunteer to drive her up, but now my aunt will be bringing her. My fiancé and I are very private about our relationship. We've been together almost 5 years and recently quietly got engaged. No social media posts, just told to a few close friends, and then people notice when they see me wearing the ring. I've not told my family yet. I was feeling very excited about getting to show my Gmaw my ring and tell her I'm engaged on Friday when I see her, since I don't get to see her in person very often and I know I have limited time left with her. I was thinking about it with my friend, and she said I would be a jerk to steal the spotlight by announcing my engagement right before my sister's baby shower. I thought it would be okay, given that it's the day before the baby shower, with immediate family only, and it's not like I'm making a toast at the party to announce I'm engaged. Also, since I'm not super close with my family, and this is just the next time we see one another, I don't want to take off my ring to hide the fact I'm engaged. So it felt natural, but now I'm worried that it's a jerk move for me to do this. Everyone is planning on leaving for their respective home states soon after the shower is over, so I most likely won't have time after to announce. We'll provide more details if needed to reach a judgment. Tried to keep it short and sweet. Edit. To add, we got engaged yesterday. This isn't that we haven't been engaged for weeks or months and hiding it. All in all, I really appreciate everyone who kindly gave their insight. I came to get input of perspectives I didn't have, and I think if the majority of internet strangers think I would be the jerk to do this, then it wouldn't be hard for people at the shower to think the same way, which is a bad look for me and takes more away from my sister. I'm not sure if I'll take the ring off or talk to my sister about it first, but to keep things simple, I won't be telling my family the night before or this weekend at all. Yeah, I think that's the right move. Reddit gave some good advice there. Families coming to town specifically for this baby shower, so you would be stealing the thunder 100%, not just by announcing your engagement, but by doing so before the shower. So I agree. Talk with your sister about it first, whether or not she's cool with you wearing the ring. I mean, there's no need to make a big scene about it, but yeah, definitely do not announce before shower. Good advice. Good move. Doublebagger45 replied, "Your sister's first baby is more exciting than your second marriage, especially in a religious family. Don't announce, just tell privately, and don't expect your family to make a big deal of this second marriage as they did your first." Our next story is, would I be the jerk if I rescinded my offer to hire a babysitter for my child-free wedding? I'm getting married in a little less than a month, and my partner and I decided back in November to have a child-free wedding. Shortly after making this decision, a bridesmaid and my sister announced they were pregnant. We made it clear at Christmas with the family, and went over it again at Easter, that we were still having a child-free wedding, but we would offer to pay for a babysitter who would be about 5 minutes away from the venue. Cut to Father's Day, June 15th, and my sister mentioned she thinks her baby should be fine at the wedding as long as she's holding him. I stopped her and reminded her that we're having a child-free wedding, so she responded with, "Then I guess we aren't going." I told her about the offer for a babysitter close by, but she didn't respond. So I said I respect whatever decision she makes and left it at that. Currently, I've not heard anything else from my sister, but I know she called my mom to complain about it. She claimed she was never told the wedding was child-free, and thinking back, it's possible they didn't know, as they often don't join family events because they're sick. I also don't think she ever took the effort to RSVP online, so she may not have seen the invitation was only for her and her husband. My bridesmaid has decided to organize her own arrangements for the baby, so she won't need to use the babysitter. So I'm now considering rescinding my offer for a babysitter. It'll cost us easily $300 to rent the space and pay the sitter. And I would not be surprised if, despite saying they'll come and need the babysitter, that they'll cancel last minute. I also wouldn't be surprised if they didn't respect the no-child rule and tried to sneak the baby into the reception. However, they do not have the money to pay for their own sitter, so by doing so, I'll essentially be uninviting them from the wedding. It probably goes without saying at this point, but yes, my relationship with my sister has been strained for many years. Would I be the jerk if I told my sister the offer for a babysitter was off the table? Edit, to answer some common questions. The baby will be 6 weeks old at the time of the wedding. The bridesmaid's baby will be 7 weeks old. We offered to rent a house, which is a 5-minute walk from the venue where the babysitter would be, or they could take turns watching the baby in that space. I've not reached out to my sister regarding the wedding. Yes, I've spoken to her to congratulate her on the baby. Since our last conversation in June, since I'm not yet sure whether I'm still willing to offer the babysitter as an option. I worry she'll ask for the sitter, but then not come at the last minute. No other person attending the wedding is interested in the babysitter option, as they worked out their own alternatives already. Conclusion: Thank you all for your feedback. My lack of knowledge surrounding newborns has been made abundantly clear, and it's been a chance for me to learn. Nonetheless, my partner and I are set on a child-free wedding. No exceptions for newborns, and we're fully willing to accept that some may choose not to come because of this. I'll be reaching out to both my sister and my bridesmaid once again now that both babies have been born. I will speak with the bridesmaid to check whether she's still feeling up to being a bridesmaid, if she would prefer to simply attend, or if she no longer feels comfortable attending. Many pointed out how difficult it was for them to be at a wedding postpartum, and I want to ensure she's not feeling pressure to attend because she committed to it before knowing the full reality of having a newborn and being postpartum. For my sister, I will take the advice of many to contact her once again to confirm what her wishes are, not attending or the sitter, and honor whichever choice she makes. Should she ask for the sitter, we'll offer it to be a certified sitter either in her home or nearby the venue as planned. If she does not attend last minute, which could be very well for valid reasons, we will simply eat the costs. This is a mess. Why do weddings always have to be this way? Everybody sucks here. My goodness. Mean Armadillo 279 commented, I'm so confused. They announced after your decision in November, which means the babies will be newborns at your wedding next month. None of y'all are actually thinking. Newborns are difficult for mom in particular to leave alone for a length of time. Friend. The baby is not going to be all right at the wedding either. Sister, in the sense that baby might still cry. Not to mention mom herself will have to recover from childbirth. She'll be lactating. And why would you even think your child-free wedding would strike your own sister as newborn-free? Most people wouldn't imagine that kind of thoughtlessness from their own fam. Bet on Letty replied, Thanks for doing the math. I was wondering about the exact age of the babies for the wedding. Babe in arms is usually an exception to no children rules. If baby is breastfeeding exclusively and under 6 months old, it's incredibly hard for mom to be away for any length of time. It's reasonable to ask that babies not be in the ceremony, but keeping newborns out altogether is a jerk move. Your sis and bridesmaid won't stay long anyway, cause the baby will need their attention. Offering to pay for a sitter was kind of you, but it's really not a solution to the complicated realities of life with a newborn. If you don't allow newborns as an exception to no kids rules, I'll always vote you're the jerk. Our next story is, am I the jerk for telling my dad to pay for his own holidays? My 25-year-old female, dad, 64-year-old male, has always favored my brother, 29-year-old male, which has been clear in how he supports him and celebrates his successes. I could go on for days with many examples, but here's a pretty big one. When my brother gets good news, my dad gets emotional and often teary-eyed. In contrast, when I graduated university and hosted my dad abroad, he whispered to my mom that he regretted coming and he wished he stayed home because he thought dinner was too expensive. $150 for 5 people. Our bed was uncomfortable and our fridge smelled of kimchi. That comment really stung, especially because he didn't even say this to me directly. Rather, I overheard him as I was about to fall asleep. This was at night. I was on the couch in the other room as I gave my parents our double bed. For context, my brother is lazy and only got his current job with help from my parents, while I moved out at 21, built an independent life, and never asked for financial help. Now, as I'm working on a business with my partner, my dad said, quote, if you ever want to gift us a holiday or a car, don't feel like you need to spend too much money. He often assumes we'll pay for him. Am I a jerk for telling him, you can pay for your own holiday? You've got a job? My thoughts are perfectly echoed by aggressive ad 5454, so let's just go ahead and jump right into that comment. You don't have to say anything or do anything. When he says, if you ever want to give us a car, you can think to yourself, yeah, I'll want to do that when penguins colonize Mars, and say, okay, good to know. No sense forcing a confrontation about his hypothetical idea. You aren't going to change any minds or make anybody more content with their lot in life by having this conversation, so skip it. And if you get a more explicit demand, remember that no is a complete sentence. Alright everybody, that is all the time we got for today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and comment down below, and if you want to check out any of our other videos, click the video on the right. I got nothing else for you. I will see you all next time.